And I also want to say a huge thank you to Ashley. We just met each other, and this is the power of social media and networking. So what was it like a couple weeks ago? We didn't know who each other were. So we got connected through Chelsea Pites, right? And
Yep.
that's the power of asking and saying, hey, do you know anybody in the space? Who would you recommend? And because Chelsea holds a very high quality network, at least I think she does. I think she's awesome. If you all know Chelsea, if you don't, go. I will show you her profile. You guys will know. And that's the power of how quickly networking can happen when you maintain a high quality network yourself. So it's just the power of LinkedIn. And I met Chelsea through LinkedIn and Instagram. That's the world of social media. You don't know somebody one day and the next day you're best friends. So, or you're working together. All right, let's hit the ground running. So I want this to be interactive, and at the same time, Ashley's asked me questions. So I do have some slides, but I don't want to do death by PowerPoint. So I want to get your questions answered. So as I'm going through, or want to make sure I hit exactly what you guys need and want and all that good stuff. So are we ready to hit the ground running? A little background on myself. So you were like, who the heck is Judi? I do have 20 years experience. It's mostly half of my experience is corporate and business development and sales. I started my career as a chemical engineer in the 90s. I know sometimes people don't think I look mid 40s, but I am. I just have good skincare or something. And then the next part of my career, I lost my job in the 2008-2009 crisis because I was working for a gypsum manufacturing company doing manufacturing sheetrock. How crazy is that? I was working in their corporate office in Chicago, lost my job in that crisis. And that's when I discovered the power of networking and LinkedIn, because I looked at all the job search sites. I looked at everything out in the world and I said, if I'm going to get a job or any opportunities in this economic crisis, it's going to be through networking. Hands down. The fastest thing that's going to happen for me is somebody's going to connect me with an opportunity. Somebody's going to connect me. And now I'm going to dial into real estate and all the world that everyone is here in, but you're going to get connected to the next sale, the next conversation that needs to happen, the next visibility thing that will explode your business visibility. And I saw the power of LinkedIn in 2008, 2009. So I started investing my time, my energy, really learning what works on there as a site for direct messages, connecting. And then fast forward, LinkedIn added the ability to upload native video, which that changed the platform completely. And then I started uploading video about 2 years ago and hit in the first year of uploading video, I hit 3 million views. And then last 2 weeks, I've hit 1 million views in 2 weeks. So it is a powerful platform for visibility. And, we're all going through so much right now, but business visibility is huge on people's minds right now, especially because we're all either at home or things have changed. So if you can get online visibility, which is kind of what I do, then it's powerful. It's changed my life, even just have 1 million views in the last 2 weeks. So what I'm going to guess is there's one of the biggest things is a lot of people say, well, why would LinkedIn work for me? I'm not trying to be like an influencer. I'm not trying to do this. I just want to get my content in front of the right eyeballs. And I know that it's getting in front of the right eyeballs. And what I respond to that is, number one, I say LinkedIn, again, it's changed from the original concept, which was to use it as a job board, to upload your resume, to get in front of a corporate office and get a job, which it still is used like that. And that's how your clients may be using it. But it's still really, really powerful for the ability to create these connections. So let me go into the slides and share my screen. And then, I guess, Ashley, are you able to see the chat if something comes up? So
yes.
And then hopefully I can, it'll send me some announcement when people want to join in. So hopefully Okay, you guys are just looking at my crazy screen here. So I knew this was so. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I like to shift the mindset as LinkedIn is more about leadership now versus being professional. That immediately shifts people's energies around how they're going to show up. They think, how am I going to post and make sure I stay professional? I delete the word professional. We're all being professional on the Zoom call, but we're being leaders. We're showing up. There's a certain type of leadership voice. The world needs more leaders, and the platform will soak up the energy of a leader versus just somebody thinking, hey, I want to get on LinkedIn and be professional. So number one, I say that. The next thing is, I think you should have a profile that is built to attract your clients, because the moment you show up as a leader, we're going to want to check out your LinkedIn profile. And if you build your profile like a website now, instead of thinking about it as just think of it as a landing page, a website. And then the last thing, if I can get it to come up, or maybe not. I go over how content on LinkedIn that attracts clients. I started this 5-day accelerator, which I'm going to start again on Monday, which is and already has gotten people over a 2,000 to 5,000% increase in profile views in less than 5 days. I had somebody hit those kind of views in 3 days. And it's not what you think. I go hint, hint, it's not going to be what you think. Again, I'm all about the mindset. If you go into LinkedIn with a different mindset, it changes your experience immediately, completely changes your experience. So I think of it as business insurance. What's my return on investment? Well, I would invest in my homeowner's insurance. I would invest in my car insurance. I have to invest in my business pipeline, lead, client generating business insurance. I think of every platform like that. I am not on social media with a mindset of, I don't know, people are my friends and my family, but at the end of the day, I'm here for business. I'm here for how does that lead me to the next opportunity across all my social media. I just made a flat out decision that was going to be my life, and I'm on social to work. I still have fun on social. I don't just look like I'm working. So the next thing is, a lot of people want their voice to make an impact on LinkedIn. And I just go over the fact that even just posting that it is more than a job board. So it's at 81,000 views, 1,000 likes. It's not about always sharing your content and selling yourself, because I built my profile to sell me. I can then have conversations, and this was me talking about my experiences in this video. Notice it's a short video. It's 42 seconds. It's a quick video, and it goes along with really good copy, because the see more right here. So you're like, oh, wait, I want to know why she was offline from social media. Now, I didn't consider LinkedIn to be social media. So I focused for those 4 years, it was 2014 to 2018, I focused all of my effort on LinkedIn. That's it. No, I didn't have Instagram. I didn't do Facebook. I didn't do Twitter. I did no other platform other than LinkedIn, and it completely paid off, if you can tell. But that's the power of focus. So yes, some people say, okay, I'm still putting 80% of my effort into LinkedIn for my business. The next, if I can, I don't know why it decides it doesn't want to forward my slides anymore. So I just posted this the other day. Obviously my hair looks similar, my glasses, and it's at around 10,000 views. And the reason I'm sharing this is because so many people are saying, well, how do I show up during this economic crisis? And I'm sharing just from my heart. Like, I was on a Zoom call and I shared my mindset hack that I use personally for myself, because I love hiking. I have my wilderness certification in first aid rescue, and I've done, search and rescue and cave rescue, crevasse rescue, mountaineering. And my whole world, I have this next right rock, where when I've had to climb mountains, I've climbed Mount Rainier twice and other things I've done, it's literally one foot after the other. So when you share just your leadership mindset, where you're at in your life, it's leadership content. It's not always saying I have to sell myself. It's just I'm coaching and teaching other people through my content. Okay. Oh, this was from another presentation, but I always have quotables. I believe action's going to create the clarity that you need. So if after this presentation, if at a minimum, I will give you 3 actions you can take because it will create clarity. All right, so these are the leadership voices that I go over. So a lot of people think I'm going to help people. And again, I'm all about shifting your mindset. You're going to empower people. You come across totally different the moment you delete the word help, because the opposite of help feels like people are helpless. And I've had so many people say, how can I help you? That makes me do all the work to tell them how they can help me. So as the person that wants the business, if you want somebody's business, you have to think from a place of I'm here to empower you, and your whole tone will change the moment you change from help to empower. The next thing is we never really want to save someone from mistakes. We can challenge the lessons we've learned from any missteps, mistakes, or things that you've done in your life or your business. Again, be liked. You would think I would come across okay on LinkedIn and nobody would tear me apart, but every once in a while there's people who hate my voice, hate the way I look, all the different things happen. The moment I was telling somebody the other day, yes, I'm grateful for 1 million views, and after 1 million views out of 1 million, I would say in the last 2 weeks, I've only gotten 5 negative comments or 5 negative messages, which I think is really not bad. And I think there's anywhere from 80,000 likes and comments on one of my pieces of content. So that alone tells me that it's really, how do I say this? It's not that bad out there. It's just, it will happen. So you just need to be your true self and your voice and stay in your mindset for why you're here. And then why? Oh, I think when I click to let somebody into the waiting room, it stops. So instead of being perfect, I love the idea that done is better than perfect. So that's what we're doing here. We're getting it done. So I've heard, if anyone's ever heard of the drama triangle, oh, wow, that went fast. Instead of being a helper or a rescuer, you're a coach. Instead of being a victim, you're a creator, and a challenger instead of a persecutor. But I'm just going to show you what that looks like. If you show up on the platform asking curious questions in your content, let's explore this energy. The next thing is a creator. You give us action steps. The platform loves numbered action steps. Solution oriented. You don't need permission, but you can crowdsource for guidance. You can share lessons you've learned throughout your career. Next is a go-to person. You share your resources. You share that you were at this presentation and you took a screenshot and you share this with other people and say, this is a great resource. And those are the types of energies. And you also show people that you're accountable. You can share the journey. This is where you can celebrate that you're having a closing and you're sharing the spotlight. There's something called spontaneous trait transfer, that if we see you having success, if we see you having a closing and you take the limelight off yourself, actually ends up the light is big enough and you end up getting a lot of the limelight too when you highlight your clients, you highlight your success, and you highlight your journey. All right, so I believe what you focus on expands. Let me make sure we have time for a lot of questions, but I just want to go over this concept of converting from your profile, and I'm going to show you I have commercial real estate examples, and just they work also for, residential. So what we're going to cover is, think of it as a landing page. The banner image from the top down, it's very similar to what would you think about is the first image somebody comes to see when they come to your website. We want to give people clear instructions. That it happens all the time on LinkedIn, that people just, at the end of the about section, they just leave them hanging. No instructions. We want to flip that and give instructions. And then there's something called the featured and media files, and I'll show you the power of those really quick. And all of these one-page summary sheets are on my website on the first page. I think you just say, here's my email, and the PDFs get sent to you if you want these. So this is Barry Wolf. I've worked with him, and we changed, if you notice, there's a huge difference in the after, but the before it's commercial real estate. He's got his properties. It is a really cool image. However, it doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't give us any words or any kind of concept of who he is. But instead, now we have a call to action, which is a follow me, hashtag #NetLeasePro. He has his, I don't want to get too far into having your own personal hashtag, but you can brand yourself all these different directions. I don't want to confuse anybody, but just having the website up there, notice how it just changed everything. Granted, it's a little hard to read if it's smaller, but you get the picture. It was such a simple change, but it immediately allowed us to know what the website name is at a minimum. Know that he has a hashtag #NetLeasePro. The next thing is, if you notice that it has sales, leaseback, shopping centers, we had to literally add the words commercial real estate, single tenant net lease. Like, this is the number one area right here in his headline that you have to think, what are they searching for? If they're searching for real estate agent, and that is the term they type into LinkedIn, then in a local area, you can literally type in real estate agent, Richmond, Virginia, hashtag RVA or something. That's just the local area that I live in. So the next biggest thing is this section right here. It's called featured. And he has taken it to niche down. And some of the top converting ways are testimonials. If your clients have worked with you, that you have any reviews, any results, anything you can share with people, that would go right here. And his available properties are right here. And that is, look how much more powerful that is versus having these 4 squares. We don't know what they are. There's no description with them. We have to make a decision as a buyer about what we want to do next with when we come across him. Now he's helping us make the decision. And so just in the last, I don't know, me and Barry worked together probably about a year ago, also his content strategy, and he's now at almost 18,000 followers. So he's grown from 8,000 to 18,000 in a very short amount of time. And that's the power of content and having a built out profile that we know exactly.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But again, the same thing happened. The idea that she does obviously do a lot of either online events, speaking events. I hope that eventually we can meet in person again. But we go to where she's at, where she's going. And if you notice her website, it's so much easier versus the other option on the left. And then same thing, we want to give people a place to go. So here before, it was a very simple, here's just my website. But now we have a little bit more where we might consume a YouTube video or go over to her YouTube channel. She has 3 options, which I think you should have 2 to 3 options max. So it definitely changed the look and feel to go from I'm Beth Azor to if you own shopping centers and need help with your leasing vacancies. Sell them from the front. Like they come to your profile, they're a warmer lead, and this is the option, and this is the place where you should be presenting your best foot forward. And this is one of my clients that I think just is not in the real estate, but just has a really good example of the call to action at the bottom of the profile. So you notice again the difference, how powerful it is to change from having a stock photo to going over to her social proof. She's been in the New York Times. She's been in Forbes. She has a very powerful, amazing software company. And now look at the difference. It's just immediately you're able to know why you're going to connect with her. And then the next difference is here. Instead of ending, if I could have shown you the bottom, it just ended. It just said, yeah, here's all my information. Now it says, click the links below to dig deeper and connect. So go to the corgibites.com. That enters you into their sales funnel, into their sales process. And then read my article on first round review, because that article converted so much business. So find your top 2 converting: your website, your properties, your testimonials, and start paying attention to what people are putting there, but what gets you the most business, and think from that perspective. So look how there were so many media files before, And now there's just 2 because we'll more likely take action on 2. Oh, and then she wrote me a really awesome review. So thank you. And she's a LinkedIn Learning author. And I feel really honored that she's like, hey, I thought I knew LinkedIn. And thank you, Judi. So, here's Barry and Beth's content showing you that they get lots of likes and comments because they're on the platform. Number one, if you notice, Beth is sharing Barry's post. So they are collaborating with each other and helping each other out on social media, which is very powerful to do. It's can be a very collaborative space, and that drove more traffic to this event, and vice versa. He will share and return the favor for her. So they are just building each other up. And I think there's a few of them that have all bonded together and said, we will all support each other's content. There's no forced, you don't have to do that, but it does create an initial impact on your content to have conversations. If you have a party at your house and you invite a bunch of people over, and as the host, you should kind of start some of the icebreaker conversations, get people talking. Same thing on LinkedIn. If you want comments, sometimes you have to start it. You have to start the conversation. You have to welcome people into your comment home and say, thanks for being here. Here's what I talked about in the post. Carrying on the conversation here in the comments. What do you think about XYZ? And then you start the conversation in the comments. Most of the time, no human being wants to be the very first person either at the party, unless you're best friends with the host, or the person that is going to be the first to comment on social media feels super awkward. If you see 0 comments, you're going to I'll give it a like. I'm not going to comment on it because I don't want to be the only comment. There's 2 reasons to change that thinking. Number one, if you are the only comment on a post that anyone out in the world makes on LinkedIn, you will get noticed. Hands down, you will be visible. The next thing is for your own content, start the commenting yourself. So, and this is Chelsea. So she's obviously a great example. She highlights where she has spoken. She works for Fidelity National Financial, and she highlights herself for keywords now: real estate educator and speaker versus teaching real estate professionals to build mind share and market share through social media. People that need her are not going on LinkedIn and searching, I need more mind share. Do you see the difference? So you do want to pack this with keywords, you want to think, what is my ideal client typing into this space? The next thing is, if you notice she has that, what I offer, don't forget to grab your free Instagram audit because she's on Instagram a ton. And then the buy what to post here, click this to listen now. I just was on her podcast, The Voice of Social Sales. I can't say it. Social sales. Oh my God, I said it. Okay. Next, show interest in others and they will show interest in you. These are the content points. These are not an algorithm. It's more of a way to understand why people are getting visible on LinkedIn. And I will go over what's on the left versus the right. The left is your activity on the platform, going around and liking and commenting. Likes, LinkedIn has taken away showing that you liked something. If you go around and you're like on LinkedIn, LinkedIn will stop acting like that's your activity on LinkedIn. They do not necessarily, I think they've even probably dropped that +2 points for you just liking somebody's post. I'm potentially thinking in the last couple of months, they've taken that away. They do not enjoy people going out and sharing and liking posts right now. It comes across as spam on LinkedIn. What they really want is your comments and long comments. So every single time you comment on somebody else's post and you make it a long enough comment that people have to click the see more to read the rest of your comment on their post, that gets you 5 points. Well, 5 points means, say, for example, you go out and you do 20 high quality comments in a couple of days. All those points gathered means that the moment you make a video or a long text post, which is 10 points or 15 points, you have all this built up point system that you have gained traction before you've ever made a post. If all you do is go out to LinkedIn and you just upload a video, you upload a long text, That's it. You only get 10 points. But you could literally, this is why I say it's like having an empty auditorium and you want people to come watch your movie, your content, go out and comment. Because the moment you make all those comments, LinkedIn will show your post to 1,000 more people. All these extra points that you've gathered will earn you credits to get seen on the platform. So I hope that kind of gets, it's kind of hard to explain, and this was the best way that I could come up with it. So on the left is all your activity to comment, and then here's your post on the right. So, and this was the power, even she had better results. This was actually only 3 days in to me telling her how to do 15 high quality comments over 3 days. And that's it. So does this make you want to comment on LinkedIn a little bit more now? And this is not even creating your own content and posts. This is just high quality comments. And then I want to show you one of my clients got reshared by Ariana Huffington, who has 9 million followers on LinkedIn. So this is where I get super excited. And she thanks me, which is very nice to be publicly thanked in Ariana Huffington's post on LinkedIn. So that was pretty exciting. And her business is doing completely fine right now because of visibility. It really comes back to visibility. Last thing is LinkedIn's going to show your comments to your community. So when you say who's seeing my comments and who's seeing my content and am I getting the right eyeballs, they are getting the right eyeballs when you are showing you have connected to people, and you will start being seen within your first degree connections. And then they'll start showing it to second degree, who knows somebody that you know, and then they'll start showing it to third degree. But that's the more popular, the more traction, the more visibility out from a center you go. And let me check the comments in the chat because we might want to get high quality comments. Yeah. When you say comment, how many words? And okay. So can clients go into your LinkedIn and leave a testimony? Yes. So recommendations are very, very powerful. So I think I show you, and I have that download, which is a high quality comment. I give you a list. Let's see if that's in the next slide. And you can turn these high quality comments into your posts. So if you spend the time to make a really thoughtful comment on somebody's content, I document all of my comments, not all of them, but the high quality ones, and I turn them into posts. So whenever I click on something. First I'll just say, sometimes people ask me, who should I be commenting on? I give this there's 2 things I tell people. If you're just getting started with commenting, enjoy it, at least enjoy it for a week. If you don't find any current clients, future clients, colleagues, or experts, or whoever in your space, and you don't really like their content, don't go make yourself miserable. Right now, if you're going to go do comments for a week, I literally had a client say, I'm just not feeling well. I have my energy levels kind of low, and I don't know if I can go out and comment because I'm not feeling, and I'm not seeing stuff that's really lifting up my spirits. And I said, why don't you just search #comedy and see if you can find some people that are just being funny on LinkedIn right now? Because there are people just, it doesn't mean that you're just supporting that and you want it to turn into Facebook, because there's that whole debate. Oh my God, LinkedIn, I don't want it to become Facebook. But LinkedIn tends to link people who show up with a little bit of comedy with business. And it doesn't mean that they can't have a sense of humor. Like the other day, somebody uploaded a horoscope chart, and it said, find your horoscope. And it had the same thing, like you'll be at home this week or something like that. Like that was the horoscope advice for every single zodiac sign. So it was just funny. And I think one time I uploaded, what if LinkedIn skills were real? And it was like, leaves lunch in the fridge for a week. I'm a pro at that. Like just silly things like that are a little bit workplace humor, if that makes sense. Like people are doing Zoom humor now. Like I was on a Zoom call and this happened, and it's kind of funny. So if you really don't know who to comment on, just go find some comedy out there if you need it. Make yourself laugh. And then I always believe, so this is for commenting. I'm probably going to show you. Let's hope that's in here. Oh, I have like a copy formula. Let me see if I can find a high quality comment. Thanks for listening to my music. Okay, it's not in this slide share. I probably have it attract clients. So let's see if I can find it in here. All right, high quality comment. Well, Dee's comment was a high quality comment. Oh, well, that's great. Where is Dee's comment? Right there. So, I mean, I'm a home-based entrepreneur. I've just come back. So I think this was originally on one of Ariana's posts. And she said, I feel rejuvenated. But let me just if I go to my website, I can just bring up where is it? Maybe it's in this one. I've got like 30 million slide decks. It's going to be in one of these. High quality comments. Somewhere. No. I've shortened too many of my slide decks. I mean, this one got 30 likes because it was, who is your LinkedIn superhero? And he wrote a high quality comment, which was to say Judi, which was really freaking awesome. And so he's a client that hit 1 million views in 90 days working together. So it's more about, let me see if I can just go to my website. That's the easiest place to find Judi Fox. It's just my name, judifox.com. And then I have what I call my 5, there it is. Oh, I scrolled a little too fast. Stop scrolling. Okay. 5 tips to commenting on LinkedIn. You know what's really interesting? I think I actually have to, I don't think I made it so I could, I'm going to download it. I gave my own opt-in. So you tag the creator of the post. The way you do that is use the @ symbol, the about symbol, and then their names most of the time will start to auto-generate. If I just go in here, I worked with Anna on this post. Unfortunately, she just lost her job. And so we worked on creating a piece of content for LinkedIn to highlight who she is, what she does. And I think she ended up with after 1 day, I think this post has been up now for 1 day. She has 3 interviews immediately. No apply for a job. No, I need your resume. Let's get on a call and talk about how we could work together. 3 phone calls that were completely solid. So that is the power of LinkedIn. And I wrote that comment. So this is tagging her. So I just wrote, you can have a very grateful comment. That's totally fine. But if you start to tag the @ symbol, it just shows her name. And then immediately. And if you want to just say her first name, backspace once. That makes it a little more casual when you tag versus trying to be like saying my full name every single time. And sometimes people have really long things or they put symbols. I don't really recommend that. LinkedIn has actually shut down some accounts for trying to be more than your name. Right now, LinkedIn is very strict with that. They just want your name to be your name. So let me go back over to, if you leave an early comment, now that's if. It does not mean you need to hover on the platform and wait for somebody that you want to come to show up and make a post. So if you go to your home screen and you happen to see, I'm just going to see if I can refresh it and see if I can get any current post. And I'm going to close these. I don't know why it's thinking. But the point is, I just check to see. So Madeline, I appreciate Madeline. I've worked with her. I've met her in person. So 1 hour ago, she posted this. So I might notice that, just the tag for when it was posted, and say, if I can catch something within the first hour, my high leadership comment is going to be more visible. So that makes all the difference. Let me see, early commenting. So Mel Robbins, she might be somebody that she's only got 25 comments in the first hour, which I don't like. You will stand out if you're one of 25 comments on somebody. And I think she has a pretty big following. Yeah, so 53,000 followers and an early comment on here. And if you notice, and this is why you will be different because you've come to this training. So let's just notice it. We are going, see how we see a C more right there? That means they made a high quality, like somebody has to click see more to read the rest of this. But here's the difference. She didn't tag Mel back. So the problem that I notice in every single comment, and I don't know why. Okay, well, what's going on with the fire? She must have said drop an emoji, because notice how there are 0 people tagging Mel Robbins. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I think I've said 0 30,000 times. And you know, the power of you all now knowing that when you're going to make a comment that is kind of long, like, I agree, stop being jealous, and then, you know, this is great. I'm just going to be really casual here. I'm not going to actually post this. You being the only human being that tags her, you will show up in her notifications, and you will potentially be her most relevant comment at the top of every single person's profile. Number 2, you're more likely to be seen by, or actually number 3, you're more likely to be seen by her community, her 53,000 followers. If you're an early comment, you tag her, you make it high quality, you make it look like you add your 2 cents, you will get seen by more of her community. You'll be at the top. It just makes all the difference. So the next thing on that list is you leave a long, thoughtful 4+ lines to get that click, see more. So this comment got 21 likes. I mean, some people would be like, I would like 21 likes on my post. So to have your comments start getting these amount of likes and comments is powerful. You can tag additional people into your comments. So say, for example, I really appreciated Mel Robbins's post. I then tag Ashley because me and Ashley just talked about Mel for some reason. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she just made this post. I want to bring in Ashley. I want to bring in Chelsea. I want to bring in 2 or 3 people. You can tag more people into your comment to say, hey, I think you would want to see this. And then you can use your personal hashtag. So I didn't want to confuse you guys with that, but adding and having a personal hashtag, the reason why is mine's hashtag Fox Rocks. So if you go to hashtag Fox Rocks, I'm going to admit somebody in, there are 301 followers. And what's happening is, so this is one of my clients. She's had over a 200,000% increase in her visibility on LinkedIn after working with me. So she is thanking me. She went from like less than 500 connections. She's now at 2,700 connections. She obviously tagged me and talked about me. I have people sharing me now. And that's the power of having your personal hashtag, because people now, when they talk about you, she interviewed me for her Fearless Female series, and this is what she created, and it got spread out to Twitter, to Facebook, to all these other platforms, and then of course I tagged my own content, so you can start to see how I have that right there. So it's like creating a file folder for your own content. And there we go. So let me see if we want to go to questions. The chat area, can you block someone out on LinkedIn? Yes. And the clients can leave a testimony. So let me go over those 2. So one of the easiest ways, if you're going down the LinkedIn platform, and you just see something that you're not a big fan of, and I don't mean to put a person in the hot seat. I'm not saying that I'm not a fan. I'm just using her as an example. You can do things like unfollow. Let's see, unfollow, hide this post. And then if you really want to potentially block somebody, and I don't want to feel bad for looking like I'm blocking somebody. Maybe I should pick a friend that wouldn't get upset or something. I'm not going to actually block them. So Bridget's huge. I would never block her. She's huge in the sense that she's always putting content out there, very, very visible, always being really prolific. But then you go to their profile, you click more, and you can report/block. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. You can remove them as a connection in this more area. You can unfollow them. You can recommend them. You can request a recommendation from somebody. I would be a little bit more hesitant to do that through using this. I would send them a message first saying that you were going to ask for a recommendation versus just like hit them with, hey, recommend me. Give kudos. It looks a little 1980s on the platform when somebody gives kudos. I don't mean to be rude to the product designer, but it just has an 80s vibe. I can't quite figure that out. Save to PDF. I guess you can save her profile to a PDF. You can download your profile, which is kind of cool if you think about it as a way to save it, and then share profile. So I could share her profile with someone in the LinkedIn direct messages. Another really, really cool thing about LinkedIn that I think of it as, if you have a problem, then we solve it. So a lot of people are really annoyed by the spam on LinkedIn. That's what I hear a lot. So again, I'm not putting any human being into the hot seat because I don't have very much spam in my inbox at all. These are mostly all relevant conversations, but let's pretend something is spam. I know Jennifer is not spam. I just talked with her. I'm going to get working with her team. So she's awesome, but I'm just going to use her as an example. You go under report, and that's where your spam folder is. So it's definitely sounds scary to move something to spam because it's under the report button, but it's just here and it just says it's promotional or spam, and you just don't want to see it anymore. So my whole inbox now, I freaking love it. I spent 10 minutes, marked 10 messages as spam, and now everything ends up that looks like that in my spam folder. So yeah, you guys are all cheering. I can hear it. Because that's like a pain point that so many people have on LinkedIn. All right. So the only other thing I will show you, if you want to join my 5-day challenge, I ran it already. Oh, there it is. I said I was going to start it April 13th. Well, that's the very first time that I ran it. And now I'm going to launch it again as live. And I'm going to start it on Monday, the 11th. So that way we can all go through it together. And this is where people, if you do want to join, it's free. It's just all the modules are recorded. It's just about being accountable and taking the actions to comment and not slowing yourself down. Because honestly, the biggest difference between people getting results on LinkedIn and not is action. If you just saw the example of Mel Robbins, who has 53,000 followers, she has 25 comments, and nobody's doing the high quality level commenting. So you will stand out on LinkedIn. That's how my client D got shared by Ariana Huffington, because that's what a high quality level comment. She got her attention because she tagged her. She wrote a high quality one. She gave her thought leadership, and there you go. What else? So we've got the chat. Can we hire you? Yes. Can you block somebody? Oh, I showed you where you could do recommendations, right? But also I think in the 5-day challenge, I show you literally how to get an address of the recommendations so you could send it in an email. So if you want to email some of your clients and say, hey, I'm looking to get some more recommendations, instead of sending a direct message on LinkedIn, because a lot of people still do not like their LinkedIn direct messages, you can get an exact address that if they click on it, it'll send them right to your LinkedIn recommendation area, and they don't have to navigate anything else. So that's very helpful from an email standpoint of getting more recommendations. Is it okay? Okay. Can you give examples of content for a successful real estate residential agent? Does a person know you look at him, and how many times? So yes, I'll work that question backwards. First, the platform, I think you should be visible, but you can go into what's called like incognito mode or private mode. And I've done that because sometimes I just don't really want somebody to know I've looked at their profile a bunch of times. So yes, when you go, let me share LinkedIn again. When you go to let me see, where are we doing visibility? So under your settings, if you go to your me with the down arrow and it's settings and privacy, that's, first of all, you can see I joined February 10th, 2009. I always say 2008, 2009, because I thought I joined in 2008. But anyways, my last day at my work was February 9th, 2009. So I think I was paying attention to LinkedIn. I just don't think I wanted to make sure I didn't lose my job or look like, I don't know. It's always a little nervous. So you can see how many connections I have there. And then edit your public profile. So if you are profile visibility, who can see your last name? Viewers, So I think just going into, so if I choose whether you're visible or viewing in private mode. So if I want to quote unquote stalk people, but not actually, nobody's stalking anybody here, but you can go in and say that you just want to be an anonymous LinkedIn member. There's a problem though. The moment you become an anonymous LinkedIn member, you don't lose it forever, but you basically are saying, hey, LinkedIn, I don't want any of your metrics. I don't want any of your numbers. So you lose your visibility on your account. So I do not stay an anonymous LinkedIn member for very long. I just do it when I'm like 10 minutes. I turn it on. I go out and do a little stalking. Maybe I didn't want Mel Robbins to see that I looked at her profile. So I'll click on it. I'll open up a new tab, go back out here, refresh, and then I'll search privately, but I'll show you my profile. If I go to my profile and I try to see my numbers and my results and my activity, so right here is my dashboard. Because I'm in private mode, it says I can't see anything. So if I'm in private mode, LinkedIn locks down my ability to see anything that is going on my profile or my dashboard at all. So then you get out of private mode. So I'll go back out, it saved it, I'll refresh it again, go back to my profile and go down here, back to my dashboard. So now I can see that, it went down 35%. So it's always going to be like this, like literally, I just love to keep it. If I can keep it anywhere here, that means I'm being visible. I'm glad for people to be, seeing who I am and seeing that I'm visible is really my main goal. So see the difference of viewing in private mode for yourself. So I just don't want anyone to like get stuck in private mode and then they can't get their metrics. So what was the other question? There was another one. Let's go back. So, and you guys can all go out, or not all at the same time, but if you have a question. So can you give an example of content for successful real estate residential? Yes, let's look at that. And then is it okay to make connections with people you don't know? Yes, I believe this is the difference of 2005 LinkedIn, 2010 LinkedIn, and 2020 LinkedIn. And even the CEO, the past CEO and the current upcoming CEO, because we're getting a new CEO at LinkedIn, is I didn't know Ashley. If I had said, I don't want to connect with her because I don't know her, well, then I wouldn't be here in this opportunity. At very simple level, every single person on this Zoom call, I potentially am meeting a lot of you for the very first time. And if I had said, I don't want to connect with people I don't know, then how will you get the new opportunity to sell another house, to get in front of a new client, to network to somebody who has a Zoom call for agents that maybe they would ask you to host because there's something that you know to teach, but they just don't. You don't know you exist until you know you exist. So I am an open connector. You have to, how do I say this? I either trust my gut instinct, or the moment you show me that you're not a super awesome, cool person, then I can disconnect from you. But other than that, I make the assumption that you're a super awesome, cool person, but it doesn't mean I like give you my social security number or anything. It's not like I'm going out and giving you my address to show up at my house. I'm just saying I'll connect with you. I think I have 26,000 connections because of that energy. And that energy shows up assuming, like there's somebody I connected with in a foreign country that I did not know. And I didn't know, for example, where it could go. I think maybe they lived in Thailand at the time. Again, didn't know who they were, didn't know their whole profile, didn't totally judge it. Well, turns out they ended up becoming an amazing connection, amazing friend, an amazing colleague. And what's kind of fun about them is they actually used to live in LA, and they were like best friends with the Star Wars crew. They were on the show Lost. And I'm like, what? How did I get connected to that? So it's very fascinating that you never know who somebody knows. And that's actually how I got one of my clients. I started working with Marianne Williamson, who just ran for US president and has written a bunch of books and been on Super Soul Sunday twice. And so she became a client because of who I connected with. And then they said, oh, I see that this would be really great for your business. So again, I'm not getting into politics. It wasn't about that. It's about writing, that she's an author and she has books out there that she wanted to highlight. So will you show?
Judy,
Yes.
it's Ashley. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's a lot of questions and I'm balancing things.
Yes, you're doing an awesome job, and I'm going to help monitor what's going on in the chat box here. So
let me put the Facebook challenge. Again, it's, how do I say this? It's about taking action. I just took fast action myself, created this challenge because I knew that it would work and I knew it would be amazing for people. So it's taking action. Here's the link to the challenge. And there you go. Okay. Next.
Awesomeness. Can you break it down for our agents and maybe just share a couple of examples of, all right, I'm a realtor. How can I really use this? What type of content do I really need to be posting? And let's start with that. And then I've got some more for you.
Yeah. So when I think about your personal profile, and as I already shared, it's leadership level content. And I think Chelsea Pites is a great example for, how do I say this? It's not always talking about, here's my listing or here's this. It's about the stories that you have. I know every single agent out there has some business story. You have some story. I know it. So number one, I would say, yes, and I am on YouTube. So, the stories that you have could revolve around, I'm just early in your career, what is a lesson learned that you faced as a challenge or a lesson that you had to overcome early in getting started in real estate? Is there something that you've had to pivot recently in this age of, social distancing and everything that we're going through? What could you share as a post that talks about anything that you've had to pivot or think about? So let me see if I can go out on the platform and see if I can find, because it's not always about talking, and that's the 5-day challenge. So it's not always about talking about, and I'm just curious if I go to #real estate. So it's always nice just to check out what other people are saying. I definitely think if you're going to go, there's obviously 4 million people following #real estate. And then sometimes I'll scroll down and I'll say, why is this one getting traction? Or what are people talking about that's getting traction? So number one, it's got 16 comments, 44 likes. She's a retail reporter at CNBC. We forget, this is another powerful thing. One of my clients last week got in BBC News because she commented on a reporter's post about the current crisis, the current situation, what's happening. So if you find, and this is how you find them, I don't want to go down, I hope this is okay, I'm headed this direction, but it's a powerful way to get fast visibility on LinkedIn. Check out the today's news and views. The moment you come over here, and if you're on your cell phone, it's in the search bar at the top. When you click into the search bar or here on the right of your home screen, if you see something about real estate, maybe it's Airbnb. Maybe we go and we start with the Airbnb world right now because they are posting a lot about real estate or people talking about Airbnb, maybe in the real estate world. Number one, you either connect or follow Kelly, the editor at LinkedIn. The moment you get picked up by an editor, if you make a post and your post gets shared in this editor's picks, it's like, whoa, the lights go off, your visibility on LinkedIn explodes. And this is how a lot of my clients have gotten some explosion on LinkedIn because they get picked by an editor. So number one, the way you notice their post, it's very thought leadership. It just at a minimum, they are sharing their brain, their thought. This is a terrible day, a punch in the gut. There's emotion mixed with thinking and thoughts and what's happening. And then, again, it's coming off of potentially I right click and open and connect. This one has 83 comments. I may like and comment. I may like and comment down this whole thing because immediately it will get you more visibility because you are showing up in front of the editor. An editor has spent time curating this content, and they start to pay attention to who is showing up in the conversations and posting and sharing their content. You can share from this, you can like from this, you can find movers and shakers in the industry from this. You can also start to go down, who are the 40 people commenting? Maybe I want to get in front of Devin. Maybe I want to get in front of, you just never know. You go down the list and you start finding people in your industry and the movers and shakers talking. So did this help show what a potential post could look like? Oh my God. I mean, first of all, it's got 1,000 likes. You can see how getting into this world of LinkedIn editors can get you a lot of visibility. So let me go to Chelsea's posts.
So it sounds to me like you're saying, obviously very educational, putting things out that are going to be educational. And then we had another agent ask, how often should we be posting? And approximately how many comments should we leave in a week?
So the posting is you don't want to post more than once a day, because if you are posting more than once a day on LinkedIn, LinkedIn has zero idea which one to highlight to your community. And if any of those were about to take off, LinkedIn will get they won't know, how do I say this? If you've got 5 million followers, you can post more than once a day. If you don't have a hot audience and you're warming them up, max every 24 to 48 hours, max. I tell most of my clients I have a master's in business sustainability. And that means, I think from that perspective, if you wanted to be sustainable on the platform, 1 post a week, so it can be high quality, thought leadership level, anywhere from 2 to 5 comments per day, Monday through Friday. That kind of thinking. Because if you're doing these high quality, because we want to follow high quality leaders, we don't need to follow great posts. We're not there for that. We're here for the leadership and the comments. And so when I see, Chelsea just posted 17 hours ago. I wish I would have seen it right when she uploaded it. And so I love her. Thou shalt use a content calendar. She's testing, and I know she's testing out the SlideShare feature, which I just talked about on her podcast, The Voice of Social Sales, which I'm her most recent episode. I talked about this document feature right here. That's a tab for a reason. LinkedIn's telling you what's important: all activity, articles, posts, and documents. So if I go to myself, some of the most visibility on LinkedIn. So this post, I turned it into an article. But this goes over the cover. Somebody had a question about the cover image. So I wrote this article about 5 ways your LinkedIn profile cover photo can sell for you. Some examples are putting your social proof. Where have you been featured? Have you spoken on stage anywhere? Just say what you do, specializing in, Neil Patel obviously has very thriving digital business, and he just shares SEO, content marketing. But from a real estate perspective, you could just share where you're located, your website. Let me go down here. This one, like the ways to connect. The power of 3 is what mentally our brains really like. So if you say entrepreneurship, community, LinkedIn video, you would say real estate. I don't know, like, do you have a podcast? Do you have a blog? Do you have a website? Like, give us some things to ground us, and then your handle for your website, for your LinkedIn, your Instagram, where are you at on socials? This is an easy one. That's why I put it here, and then the easier one after this, just upload some videos of showing yourself in action. Show yourself handing over the keys, show yourself in front of your sign, showing yourself in action. And again, it's the power of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's just something visual about that for our brains to consume and understand who you are in 3 images. And then I'll show you the sizing of that. But that post got 500,000 views. So that's why I tell people the power of LinkedIn is freaking real. And this was an example of somebody, I tagged Tim in this post, and that shot his profile views like he literally was like, this is what happens when Judi Fox tags you on LinkedIn. And he made that a Facebook post. So that was pretty cool to have that whole thing go viral. And this post keeps living for me, because if you have any viral post, you should definitely make it live on. And that's what I cover in my business, to tell you how to do that. And it's 1584 by 396 pixels. This is the CEO of LinkedIn. That's his cover image, or at least it was at the time. You can use Canva, but if you use Canva, you have to type in 1584 by 396. I will say it again. Canva has still not updated their LinkedIn banner that they have as a template. So you have to type these sizes in right here. So, and you can find that on my profile. Okay.
Hey, Judi, I've had a lot of agents, many of them have services that help them, posting their content. And so it'll post to basically all their channels, it'll post to Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. How do you feel about that? I know, Chelsea definitely has her opinion about that. What are your thoughts?
I think if you're going to do one post a week on LinkedIn, because we are here for your thought leadership. We're here for your personality. We're here for your brain. If you have literally had any other human being on this planet ever say to you, can I pick your brain? Can I get 5 minutes for coffee? I mean, I'm pretty sure every single person on here has had that happen to them. I can't imagine who it wouldn't have ever happened to. If you've ever had that happen to you, then that's what LinkedIn wants from you. The world wants to pick each other's brains, and that concept is why you're posting on LinkedIn. Now, for your company page, if you have a real estate company page, outsource that, automate that, do that as a business, as a company page. But if you want to maintain a high quality, high referral, high connection on your personal, dial back how much content you're making so that you can actually be there. I keep talking about having a party at my house, but if I was going to have a party at my house, because obviously we can't right now, and maybe that's what's making me talk about it so much, is having a dinner party, I would rather have less dinner parties and more high quality conversations and more people that came to my dinner party that I really wanted to be there than trying to have a dinner party every single night, every single day. And the quality of the food goes down. The quality of the conversation goes down. Have a high quality comment party, have a high quality post party. So man, I'm into the parties right now. I want to be done with social distancing or physical distancing.
I know, right? Okay, so another question that we have over here is, and I definitely know a lot of agents do this, posting about their listings. So what's your feeling about that? Where does that fit in?
I would say your listings can perform really well on your company page. If we're here for you and we're here to support you, you highlighting and having, like I said, scheduling out your listings. If you've got other content that's going out that is more business and you want to highlight and sell and do your business, put your listings on your profile and then make a high level leadership comment that you drive traffic back to your profile. Let me show you what that looks like. So we're still here for your thought leadership. I don't share. So this post has 8,000 almost and 86 comments. High ticket equals high trust, because I do believe the way you do one thing is the way clients think you do everything. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect, but if you're going to tell people invest $1 million, if you're going to tell people to trust you to buy a multi-million-dollar home and property and investment, you can't do automatic messages. So this is my thought leadership about what I'm thinking. Anyone could write this. Granted, I am trying to sell my business, obviously sell my services, but I'm giving you my thinking about what I would do instead of, I would create a master list of real messages that brought in clients. I don't think you have to delete the concept of templates and automation, but you don't want to automate the crap out of your conversations. You want to test out real ones that actually closed you business, and then figure out if you could repeat some of those patterns, repeat some of those messages. And this, I love Warren Buffett's example. He writes his letter to his sisters and then turns that into his stakeholder. So the concept of trying to take automation, some people take automation and they create automation in a vacuum. They should create more messages that are from real conversations and then repeat those. So the way that you drive traffic is, this is the call to action to share your thoughts about automatic messages, typo, whatever, it's all good. And then I put this kind of break point in my post, because I can always be selling, I can always be pitching. P.S. Pounce on a call with me, link is in my profile. You could do something that says current property listings, blah, blah, blah. You've earned the right to pitch. I love the concept of earning the right. You've earned the right for people to click over to your profile right there. That's easier to optimize your profile, get people to click, and then they click right there, go over to my profile and apply for a phone call right there. So it's not perfect, but it's a lot. It definitely converts. I get anywhere from 20 to 30 sales calls a week because of this process. And they're cold. They came over to my content. They've never seen me, or they've seen me. They've been following me. I had one guy say he was following my content, my journey, my career for over 10 years. And he said, "You've been in my eye line. I know who you are." And he just booked a sales call after 10 years. So I'm not saying that's okay. That scares everybody. But, but the concept, the moment you do this, the moment you optimize your profile to sell you, the moment you update this banner, granted mine's busy. I have a busy personality or something. I like vibe and energy. So that's what you're going to get when you work with me. I have energy. So I shouldn't hide that. I have a big smile, happy face. That's just me. And I show up as I am across social media, and because I don't know how to be anything less than myself.
So what about this, Judi? So, and again, I'm just going back into my brain of a lot of questions that I've had over time, with different agents. So I have a new listing, and what would be the best way for me to really contact basically my database, people that I'm already connected to on LinkedIn, contact them to let them know, hey, I have this awesome new property. If you or anyone that you know is looking for a home like this, et cetera, et cetera. So what would be sort of the best way to leverage that?
I always say that it still comes down to earning that right to have, and I'm just curious if anyone has a really good #property post. Boom, take a look. That's really funny. I'm trying to scroll down and see if I can find something. But the concept, again, it goes back to, let's see. I have a listing of, now you're going to go in my email. I'm a little like, oh no. What is it called? So I have, trying to find that list. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm not going to be able to find it really quickly, but I just have a list that talks about all the different concepts of what you can post, like a reminder, like how is there any story associated with this property at all? Because we're going to be sold on story and emotion versus just you have a property and you have a new listing. So it doesn't mean you have to tell us this elaborate story. I'm going to show you Tabitha because I really appreciate her content, and she's always finding the stories. She is a recruiter, and I know that's not property, but I think we're forgetting you can pitch where I showed you to pitch. You can pitch from your profile. You're not going to get much traction if you just say, here's my property. Plain and simple. It's just not going to get traction. So let me see if I can come up with her posts, because she has a very solid posting strategy. Do you have favorite quotes that you believe in? So I'd be a little less alive if I couldn't fill in the blank. How would you complete that statement? It's such a simple post. Granted, as a person making and saying, hey, I want to sell property, you could open with that and then have the rest of the post be about your new listing or talking about what's going on in your business right now. You could share what you think is going on. That may be not the best example, but let me go down here. Most candidates I speak with that don't leave. I know I can find a real estate example. I just don't have one right now. I mean, I guess Chelsea could be one, but I just really don't think you should be posting your listings on your personal profile. What are people when you meet in person, what do you talk about? Do you talk about relatable things? Do you talk about why they're moving? Do you talk about what they want in their new property? What are trends you're seeing happening in the property and the world that you're in? What are some things you could share? You could say, here's like 3 trends I'm noticing from the last week with my homeowner, concerns they're currently having and facing. And here's how I'm handling them and dealing with them. And I have a new property. Like, it's just, you earn the right to have people pay attention to what you're talking about. And too many people don't build awareness. I believe you have to build awareness, and then they evaluate you, and then they trust you. That's that know, like, and trust. But I feel like know, like, and trust doesn't tell you what you're actually doing is just building awareness. They have to know you exist as a agent, as a company, as a brand, as a person. If they don't even know you exist, how can you get to, they want to evaluate if this is the right property? So I'm not saying you fill out everything and it's not constantly, but once you hit awareness, you can then make more listings and then have more flexibility. But I'm kind of assuming a lot of people in here have a colder audience. If any of you has a hot audience, you can probably get away with posting and saying, here's your property, or here's some things. You can get more flexible the hotter your audience is. But right now, if you're coming on LinkedIn and you're cold, you have to start from awareness, or else we just zoom right past your content because we don't know what's in it for me just to see your property there.
Sure. Well, I mean, the biggest thing I wrote down that you said is this is all about telling a story and conveying emotion, which is so true for every social platform, really. It's all about leading with story. So going back to what you were saying, it could be, you know, oh my goodness, my client is in the military and is being transferred, et cetera, et cetera. So
it's relatable. Like when I bought the house that I'm in right now, you know, if my agent wanted to make a post about me, they would have shared part of my story, which was this. I literally just gut instinct, got online, looked up, saw some open houses happening. The house next door was an open house. This house was also for sale. I looked at the open house next door. I came over to this one, called the number because it wasn't open. I figured out, got an agent. Turns out the agent ended up living like 3 or 4 houses down the street. And then, because that became my agent, because I knew them and there was a connection. They knew the property. They knew the neighborhood. It happened like that. I only looked at one home, like that home next door and then this home here. And that was my housing experience and story. And we called it the flower house because it had tons of flowers out front. And my son was 3 at the time. And he was like, we're moving into the flower house. So, I mean, there's just little stories like that could probably say, you know, you can even share, we had an open house at this home last week. There was a lot of interest. Some of the things people are saying are X, Y, Z. There's a little bit of a story with it, and then post the property, then post the pictures. I don't know, like there's always a story with every neighborhood and every home. Like this one ends on 2 cul-de-sacs, so I can go walk in the park. How important is walkability in your neighborhood? That's a curious question for the platform that they could answer. They may never, it could get your post way more visibility, and then that person who is going to buy that house sees it. But you started off the post saying, how important is walkability when you're thinking about buying a new home or looking at a new property? How important is it to be in a certain school? You can have all these curious questions. That can be one way to open it. Even if you know the answer, still ask the curious question. I have people all the time saying, just trust your gut. You know the answer. I'm like, I'm doing it for the views. I want you to answer my curious question. Do I know the answer? Yes.
Yes, but we want to know what they think. So
yes. As a leader, and you're going to start a business meeting, what do you have morning huddles about? Take note of any business meetings you're having. Make a post about this Zoom call. You can just share what you're up to, but then highlight your properties, because as you're up to things, you're on the go, but you're still listening in on a Zoom call, and Deborah is making a sale or she has a showing right now, and you know, she could also say how this is what you do when you're on the go. You know what I mean? You can share a post like that, but you're still somehow highlighting your property.
Right. So Shelly wants to know if video is better than the written post.
I would say if you're forcing people to watch a long video, then you don't need to be uploading video, because what I tell people is if you have a 1 to 2 minute video, that is really nice to get to know you, but we're only going to invest in that video if we know the value in watching that video for us. So a lot of people on LinkedIn get, how do I say this? They get thirsty for watch my video. What I tell people is merge the copy that goes with the video that matches along with it. And more people watch my videos because I build trust. They know exactly what I'm going to get to the point in the video. I'm going to talk about the same thing I'm putting in my writing. And that has a bit of a, I've read and I love the book, The Speed of Trust. And I believe there's things that we're doing, both that we realize we're doing and things we don't realize we're doing on social media that build trust. And so many people just say, oh, constant content and being a content creator that is consistent. Throw that out the window, because that is like the lowest hanging fruit for how to build trust on social media. And that is just what the masses can point at, because trust building has so many more aspects to how you show up on video, how you show up on your content on LinkedIn, and it builds trust. That is what I call like social capital. It's like we each get a social capital credit card on LinkedIn. We can swipe it and we can build trust and build reputation and build referrals and build everything, or we can be debiting from it. And people have to figure, that's what I coach and that's what I teach, is how to do these micro transactions that start getting that traction. Like I showed you, Beth and Barry and Chelsea have gained because of building trust. I wish I had a residential, really rock star. All of you, I need to like get connected, check out your content. If you have a post that you're like, whoa, this one was trending, this one got really good response and views. I mean, let's be an example for each other. You guys all have to have examples of some content out there. I just don't have the curated all content count like in my head.
So how do you feel about, Corey was asking, do we need to, how important basically is it to subscribe to premium or not?
So premium, it just, how do I say this? If you have a big team and you're definitely doing a lot of sales and business development, and you want to move through LinkedIn in a way that does allow you to do a little bit more searches, cold potential messages, I personally don't have premium anymore. And the reason why is because I had Sales Navigator, I've had premium, I've had all the accounts, I have clients that have all the premium, and I wanted to delete it from my world just to see if I would miss it and what about it I would miss and where would I run into headaches. And honestly, there's a workaround for almost every potential headache. I'm sure LinkedIn wouldn't like me saying that, but premium should not. The idea of getting Sales Navigator, it's like they're doing a good job of selling it because they're making you think you need it and you want it. So you don't actually. There's definitely workarounds for everything. And I tell people, and I'll just show you a really quick way if I can share my screen again, because this is how I believe. So Chelsea is a great example. I maybe want to get more connected to her network. So say, for example, instead of me thinking from a cold perspective, I'm going to think from a hot or warm perspective. The hot or warm perspective is going to go to see all of her activity, see her, what she's commenting and liking on, because that's in her network. And then I check out who's liking and commenting. So say, for example, there's somebody in her network, maybe I'm fascinated by, I have a first degree connection, so I already know Rebecca. If I'm looking for new people that know Chelsea and we have Chelsea in common and potentially could be a good networking connection, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and that's where I'm going to start finding people that I don't know, but they know Chelsea and they like Chelsea. So if you start to get into this world of, I teach realtors how to generate leads virtually. So I'm curious. You know what I mean? Like I go down this, rabbit hole of finding the people that are in somebody's network. So if you have a current client that I bought a house from you in the last 4 years. Maybe they're making content on LinkedIn. Maybe not everyone is, but maybe go check out who is liking and commenting because they're in their network, potentially in the same city. Potentially you may click on this person and say, oh, wow, I definitely want to connect with them. So maybe there's a reason to say, okay, I specialize in medical and retail construction. There might be some synergy here. 437 followers. So I might stand out if I show up. So to send a connection, this is where you take advantage. Instead of having premium, keep your message short so you don't need premium, because nobody wants to read a 10-page paper from a new connection. Like, anyone who sends me a super long message and they had to do in-mail to premium, I have never seen a message convert from doing that, to be really blunt. They've never said anything that they couldn't have said in a short sentence. So Dave saw Chelsea's post about blah, blah, blah. I connect it. I make it relatable for why I found him. I didn't just randomly stalk him. Now, if he sees this video, he's going to be like, what the heck? But this is my thought process. This is how I go down this rabbit hole of building a 26,000 hot, warm network of connections versus thinking from a cold title perspective. This is your job title. This is your industry. This is your city. I'd rather go into the network of people we know in common. So we will have a common ground starting point first, and we can launch faster and straight to really great networking and conversations much faster than any of the cold searches I've ever done. So
definitely. I mean, and I love, and like anyone who's worked with me knows that I like to be incredibly strategic and laser focused. So in terms of strategy, let's use the example of, if a company was moving here. So let's just use Toyota as an example. And I have gotten this question a lot from agents. So I know that a company is going to be moving here, and obviously people are going to be relocating here. So how do I proactively go about finding those people and connecting with them, because I know that they're going to need to buy a house?
Yeah. So I think we talked about the idea of also doing upstream and downstream in your business, like who you connect and network with isn't necessarily, just your clients. It's all the different people who are needed in the transaction. So a title company, a title rep, and all the home inspectors and everything else that goes, even interior designers and everyone in the whole chain of, I don't know, command, if you want to call it that. So let me see if I can just show you what I might do. So Toyota is going to be big. So Toyota Motor Company. And I'm so curious if sometimes I will start, and of course it makes sense if they have and they are moving their offices. I mean, is this a real example? They are really moving their office, or they're...
Well, like they did.
Oh, okay.
So this is past.
To where?
Oh my gosh. What city did they move to?
Or we could just say there's a company. Anyone have a company that is like moving somewhere right now? I'm so curious to do like the real.
Yes. Who is moving to Dallas?
Ooh.
Is anyone up to speed on that?
So first, just even typing in hashtag Dallas, I always go down the rabbit hole of let's start with some hashtags, see if there's any current conversations on the topic, Dallas real estate. You never know what you're going to find within all these different hashtags. And I always find it worth it versus trying to do all of these other searches. See how it's probably, we think about our content, but you could even just share that, like, wow, cool. Like, this is what happens in your local area. You know what I mean? Like, we have the Blue Angels flying over downtown Dallas today. As a real estate agent, that could be a post. For you, you might say, how is that making sense? Again, at the bottom of the post, which he didn't necessarily do, you always want to position them to go back to your profile to check out your most recent listings. Always have a current call to action at the bottom, very consistent. You earned the right up here. That's the earning the right part. And then that's the sell yourself part. Granted, it would be right here. That's a lot of hashtags. So the point is, they're looking for a job. I mean, I'm just trying to see if I can go down and find anything. But
Judi, one of our agents has shared that Uber is supposed to be moving here. So that's a good example.
okay. So let's start with Uber. And then sometimes I just start with, so that's a lot of employees on LinkedIn, obviously 86,000. It's possible that it's not, obviously the people driving for the company can list themselves as an Uber driver. So that would then make them an employee. So 86,000. I can also see my connections. So if you already have a connection that works there, that says they work there, that is probably a better place to start than 86,000 employees. So if they have a post talking about moving, you might just scroll down their comments. If you notice things like this, it only has 5 comments for having, I keep reminding people, 1.4 million followers, and they have 22 comments. It's not a negative thing for them to have 22. It means that the moment you start showing up and adding your 2 cents, it's not about saying, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Your profile should be built to tell them you are a real estate agent in Dallas, very clear that you can help everyone that is coming from Uber. You can make a post about it and highlight it in your featured section. So that way they come to your profile and they know who you are. And then you just go to town on becoming a supporter, a commenter, so I'm going to show you, like, never really expected this. You don't know what you're going to come across in the comments. That's why I obviously don't know what this says. I could say see translation, but I don't need to. But it looks like they're pitching themselves. That is not the right energy. Build your profile out to sell you as the go-to Uber real estate connector that you can do. And then let me see if I can go down and say 3 in 5 women. You just find, oh, these are from a month ago, 6 months ago. So I might not spend too much time in this area because it's just worth it to look. The next thing I go to is I say, okay, what connections do I have in common with people already? All right, so let's see if anyone's, just really quickly, if I can see if anyone's in Dallas. So Los Angeles, I don't know anybody in Dallas. I'm tempted. So I might say, so now is where it gets more interesting. This is the search area that is kind of the workaround than just typing in search here. So instead of doing that, do this where you can do all filters. And then this gets the workaround for the limits on number. So your premium account only allows you to fill in the search area so many times. But if you fill in this filter area, they don't limit you. At least I have not come across a limit yet to get filtered. So what I'll say is I want 2nd and 1st degree connections because I want to expand who I find. Uber, I want it to be Dallas. And let's see if I can find, I might just leave it at that. So let's see what happens. So there's only 12 results. And so I know that might sound like, oh my gosh, there's not a lot of results. But here's the thing. Now you start going into these, you don't have that many things to go down. You've got Uber, Dallas, Fort Worth connections, warmer connections. And it doesn't mean maybe this is a sourcing manager at Uber. Maybe it's more, you don't want to do the rideshare drivers, but you want to get into regional partner manager. Maybe there's a sales manager at Uber who works in Dallas. Because here's the thing, if somebody's already working in Dallas and they're moving more employees, I don't know about you, but when I show up at work, when I was working for a new company in a new city, I would get introduced around the cubicle world, and I would a million times would be like, oh, well, do you have an agent, or do you know somebody? I'm moving now to this area. Do you know, like, that conversation comes up so many times when you are literally walking around cubicle land, shaking all the hands of your new employees. Casual conversations that are very easy for people to have initially are, you're moving to the area. Are you going to buy a home? Where are you looking to live? Oh yeah, that school district is pretty good. Oh yeah, I do have an agent that I worked with when I bought my home when I moved to this area. So just getting to know the sales manager, she could have been that person that was shaking the hand in the cubicle world office that we have no idea that she turns around. So the fact that you could get connected to her and start just being visible. So you don't have to like pitch her super hard. You just have to be connected. So she is making content. She is putting activity out there. That's a good signal. Instead of flat out trying to connect first, I go down here, see if I can start engaging, see if I can just say something that makes sense, see if we can become and find a piece of common ground. And then in my connection message, I could say, I want to see how quick I can do it. I can say, oh gosh, she liked it. I have to find either a comment or a post. Let's see if she's making posts. Because how do you feel when people like and comment on your post? Oh, proud of my brother and watch this company continue to succeed. You could just say, I mean, again, you have to be very careful. You don't want to look stalkery and like you just, it has to come from your heart. But if this is, you actually check this out, you're like, wow, that is incredible. Like, and so great when family, you see your family succeed, or you might say something, I have a brother, I would love to highlight my brother on LinkedIn if he was up to something. I don't know if I would say that. I would have to find some way to connect and that made sense. And then when I say that I'm going to connect with her, or I could just go like here and go click follow. So that will send her a notification that you followed her and you made a comment. And if you're trying not to be too stalkery, in a week, you could come back and connect. Or I just say connect right now if you really, truly find a piece of content that makes sense that you could like and comment on.
And so what about sort of the reverse idea? If like Uber is headquartered in San Francisco, so I want to try and find people that are in San Francisco who might be moving to Dallas.
Oh yeah. So the other thing to notice about her is she has her people also viewed on. So that sometimes allows you to know who she's well connected with. I'm not connected with them, but she's connected with them. So an account executive at Uber, I may just kind of look at this for a second. I don't want to like flip off of this too fast, but you're right. The idea of San Francisco. So she's in Dallas, Texas. So it allows you to kind of go down this rabbit hole of this people also viewed. I'm going to just check out a couple more people. And this is how I get around the idea of having to ever do any more searches. It becomes a very hot column over here combined with finding the right people. Let's see. So he's also in Dallas. So let's go back to that filter, and you're just going to filter to say that you want to find people that are currently located. It's just easier if I go backwards. Oh, here, all filters. So I'm just going to go back to, it's got Uber, it's got this, second degree, and then San Francisco, Bay Area, and then apply. Let's see what happens. So 108 results. Again, we never know who knows somebody who they may not be moving. A strategic sourcing manager at Uber in San Francisco Bay Area may not be moving, but her best friend is moving to Texas and Dallas. And so you become visible. Oh, I don't know why it showed up like that, but you become visible to Nicole. Nicole has you now top of mind, and something's obviously happening with LinkedIn at the moment. It's a little glitchy. She has very few connections. It seems like it might be hard to get in front of her unless for some reason you went to Ohio University and you have some connection, but this might be a harder person to get in front of. And I just move on super quick. If somebody looks like they're hard to get in front of, don't worry about it. Somebody's going to know somebody. That's the way the world works. Manager benefits at Uber. They probably know a lot of people. This just may be somebody that I click and I say follow, or I connect. I just send a connection request. Sometimes if I can't tell that they're going to accept it or not accept it, I literally will just go connect, send invite. I mean, I know that sounds, if it's my return on investment, why would I spend all of this time trying to make this person connect with me when the chances of them even seeing my connection request, I'm going to spend more time and energy on other people. So it doesn't mean that she could turn into a great connection, but she's not active on the platform right now. So
right.
Does that help?
Jill has a great question. Should you be in private mode when doing this type of research?
No. I wouldn't. I mean, there's no downside for them unless you don't want to like click on their platform or click on their profile 200 times in a row or something and make it look like you're just all over their profile 24/7. But if you just happen to land on their profile, you see them, maybe they see that you checked them out. That could be relevant. It's not a bad thing to be visible.
Awesome. Hey, what about in terms of like the algorithm, we talk a lot about, let's use Facebook as an example. It's really hard to get your posts seen on Facebook because it's just not reaching a lot of people. So how does LinkedIn compare? If I'm going to take the time to put some content out there, how difficult is it for me to get in front of those connections that I have or to get other people to see it?
Yeah. So, like I said, if you have, and I, shared that 5-day challenge because literally the fact that LinkedIn visibility can happen that fast and a 2000% increase in people viewing your profile, there is nothing. Facebook is not built to sell from your profile. You can force it to build a sell from your profile, but it's not the social capital like LinkedIn is. I mean, yes, you can have a company page that then has recommendations at the top. There's a bunch of things that Facebook is powerful, but they're just in a different mindset on LinkedIn. And once you get into a pocket, it's not about finding new eyeballs all the time. It's about, I found Chelsea and she's been an amazing network connection. If I had 10 solid networking connections that were, I don't know what to call them, but if you've read Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point, there's certain behaviors that people are way more than their titles, their personalities. And we all know that friend that they're the moment they find the new thing in town, they're like, oh my God, you have to go to this restaurant. Oh my God, you have to work with this agent. Oh my God, you have to do this. We just know those people. So you find those people on LinkedIn, the mavericks, the people who are visible, the movers and shakers, and they will shout you from the rooftop to the point that, I mean, I could stop networking and just connect with Chelsea and she would just network me all day long. Like that's the kind of personality she is. And that's where I believe in that Malcolm Gladwell's book, that when people realize and they're trying to build these businesses, leaning into the personality types versus thinking about somebody's job title. So
absolutely. The connectors, basically.
Yeah.
The people who love to connect. So,
oh my gosh. And yeah. I mean, I'll just tell you guys, the agent that helped me buy and sell this house, he's top of mind for me. Like, that's it. Like, it's not because I don't know of other agents. I know of other agents. He just freaking top of mind. The way he shows up on social media, the way he is on Instagram, the way I've connected now with his wife. It's like, it's way more than just, they always do a family day at the baseball park. There's just, it's consistent and it's not always telling me what properties he has. I just feel like I know him and his family on social media and I get little glimpses of his thought leadership that he shares out. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't think about that. Or I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's something else. Or I love even watching his sharing that a house is now putting on a back porch and it's going to be screened in. And that's an update they made to a property that he's listing. And hello, we love those before and afters.
Yes.
What before and after you're going to share on social media, it will do well.
Definitely. Well, and again, just always coming from the place of story, what story are you sharing that is relatable, right? Yeah. On top of thought leadership, showing that you're a leader, in your niche. You guys have been so awesome. Does anyone else have any other questions for Judi? She has been amazing. She has been so gracious with her time. I just cannot thank you enough. So before we wrap up, last chance. Does anyone want to come off mic and ask a question or type it in the chat? Well, that must mean we covered a lot of ground.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, there's something in the chat.
Yeah.
So, yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So. Yes. Judi, seriously, I cannot thank you enough for sharing your time and your wisdom and your expertise with us today. It's been amazing. I've received so many comments just as this, session's been going on about how much they're loving this information, and I'm just so grateful. So thank you from my heart and on the behalf of all the agents that are with us today. We just really appreciate you.
Yes. So if you make a post on LinkedIn, let me know because I will try to go out and support you and then add you into the 5-day challenge. Again, it's 5 days. Anyone can do anything for 5 days. That's my thought process. And if I'm going to start working out again, I always tell myself, just do it for 5 days. Like,
right.
Just do something for 5 days. You can do it.
Yes. Well, and I'll make sure I copied the link to your 5-day challenge. So I'll make sure to email that out to everybody so that they have it too.
Yes, I did run it before. So when you join in the challenge, there's the chat and everyone's comments and everyone's screenshots, because I asked people to take screenshots because it's a powerful indicator that it freaking works. And who doesn't like seeing results from their activity? So
absolutely. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the agents who joined us. Thank you so much for sharing your time. We know your time is valuable, and we just so appreciate you being with us. So thank you, thank you. You guys have just a beautiful, blessed day, and let's just go be awesome, okay? Go be awesome.
Go be awesome.
Thank you so much, Judi.
Thank
appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.